Penn State football strikes again in Florida, and this time it's for a defensive player. That is three-star safety from St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Florida, Conrad Hussey. I'm your host, Thomas Frank Carr. Today on T. Frank's Film Room, we're going to be taking a look at Hussey and his skills on the football field as a player, his technical abilities, and maybe where he projects at the next level. And if you're new to T. Frank's Film Room or BlueWhiteIllustrated.com, we have a lot of new members over at the site. Want to say thanks for choosing us. And this is one of the things you're going to be getting at On3 and at Blue White Illustrated is T. Frank's Film Room, where we dive into and give you the context of a player's abilities behind the star ranking, giving you a little bit more detail on what to expect from these players when they reach the college football level. Do they have a long development curve? Are they ready to play early? Are they small but play big? Are they big but play small? All the little things you get from film, because that's what we do. We go through the full games, and we don't just watch the highlights here on T. Frank's Film Room. So if that sounds good to you and you're watching here on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the notification button so you don't miss when T. Frank's Film Room drops on a player. And if you're not new to BlueWhiteIllustrated.com, if you're watching this on YouTube and you've never been, sign up for just $1. Because if you want to get more in-depth with recruiting, you want to know more information, kind of the inside of the factory, that's where you got to go. BlueWhiteIllustrated.com. You sign up for just $1 and you get 12 months of access. So you know when a guy like Conrad Hussey, who visited once and then committed kind of out of nowhere, a bit of a surprise later that month in April. You get all that stuff. Just one of the great reasons and one of the great values you get when you sign up at Blue White Illustrated for just $1. Okay, so let's introduce you to Conrad Hussey out of the powerhouse in Florida, St. Thomas Aquinas High School. He is a 6', 190-pound safety. Now, the On3 consensus, which weighs the industry evenly, has him as the 452nd player in the nation. He is the 43rd safety and the 90th overall prospect in the state of Florida, which obviously is a loaded state. Now, the On3 rankings have him a little bit higher. He is not in the On300 yet, so he does not have a national ranking, but he's ranked higher as both a safety and in the state of Florida by On3. So a little bit higher on him than the nation, but not quite in the On300. And I think by the end of T. Frank's Film Room, you see why he was a take for Penn State and what sort of special skills he has. And the first place I'm going to start with is the number one place you want to start with when it comes to a defensive back, and that is ball skills. He is one of the best guys I've seen at getting to the football when it comes to making plays and interceptions. This is against American Heritage, another huge powerhouse in Florida, and you can see that is a play in coverage that translates to the next level. That's not just him catching a pop fly. Here he is in underneath coverage, crazy interceptions. That is the thing on his film that you see regularly is he gets to the football with vision, with great instincts, and with confidence to break on passes. These are not just easy overthrows by quarterbacks. There is some of that, and that's part of being a center fielder as a free safety. That's a part of the defense he's playing. He's playing that role, and he's executing it really well. But you see the ability to read the quarterback, read the route, and go get the football. Those are rare skills to see at the high school football level. One, because it's so hard to find a quarterback that will throw into coverage. And two, just finding defensive backs that have coverage skills like that. And it's the ability to get there. It is the ball skills at the catch point, the body control, the hands, all of it. Complete package when it comes to a defensive weapon. And the way he plays in the St. Thomas Aquinas defense is very similar to Penn State's defense with Manny Diaz, where he's playing in a two-high look, he's playing in a single-high look, he's playing over the slot. There's a lot of that stuff going on. Now, one thing he was not able to do, and we won't be able to show you today, is he's not in man coverage almost at all. St. Thomas, they play zone coverage on every play. He's either underneath or he's in a deep middle of the field, even if he is playing over the slot. So there's a little bit of a looks like he's doing these things, but it's really all zone coverage. So his ability to play in man or press, and that's something he's going to be asked to do at the next level as a safety for Penn State. We don't have any information on that because of what he's asked to do in the defense. But playing over the slot and underneath coverage, playing in a deep third or in a deep half, those are all translatable skills, and he passes with flying colors. Now you saw the ball skills, the body control, all that stuff to get to be able to make plays on the ball at the catch point. But when it comes to his athleticism, what you're going to see here is speed, but hopefully what you see overall is all of it. Conrad Hussey does not have any sort of weaknesses in his athletic profile. He's got great burst. He's got good long speed, as you can see here. He's got good fluidity. He changes directions well, and nobody ever catches him. So are all of these things elite and difference-making and wow, pop off the film? No, but they're all really, really, really good, to the point that I'd say that there is not a weakness in his movement skill athletic profile. And you can see here as a safety, it's really important that you can chase down players that break contain. Now, one thing I think he does need to improve are his angles to the football. There are times where he is over pursuing, or maybe he's just taking bad angles in general. His speed makes up for that, but you want to see better angles to the football, mitigating the damage and getting there to prevent big plays. He's got that skill. So just continuing to refine that is something that he needs to do. There's a couple plays on film. It really wasn't... I debated putting it in here, but I did want to mention it as far as that is something he needs to improve. But athletically, I don't have any problems. And at 6 foot 190, the versatility is obvious. With the ball skills, all those things, it's impressive. Now, here is... I'm going to hem and haw through this because this is a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So we're going to start with his run defense because that's the other part. You can't opt out of playing run defense at safety. So how does he do? I think he shows the willingness to do it, where he's going to tackle in the open field, he's going to bring the ball carrier down, and at times he does good stuff like this. He gets his nose into the trash, he finds the football, and he's able to, break off some blocks and get to the running back. So there's some of that there. But really what I'm doing here is I'm vamping to show you the one area I think that needs to improve, and that is his overall physicality. He does not play like he's 6 foot 190, which is bigger than most defensive backs. He gets pushed off the spot pretty easily. I don't think he likes contact. He's not the sort of safety that relishes making plays in a physical sense. This play in particular was on his highlight film, his huddle film. That's why I left the graphics and everything in there. And yes, this is great effort. This is great speed to go chase the guy down. But how did you get your arms around him and not tackle him is what I would say if you're putting that on film. And just cleaning things up from that perspective. So you see the willingness to play the run, but I think it's still kind of a forced thing of I don't think he really likes that. So that comes then to where does he play at the next level? And with no questions about his physicality, good size, 6 foot 190, I kind of see him as a corner. I don't think he's a safety. And when you rank him as a safety, you kind of rank him where he's playing right now. You don't see the overwhelming size, physicality, violence to go with those ball skills and athleticism. But if you view him as a corner or even a slot corner, I think he's a very good prospect because he doesn't have any weaknesses in his athletic ability. His hips are great. I predict he can turn and run in man situations in single coverage. He'll be able to stay with receivers, and he's got instincts to get to the football. All those things, I want those at corner because you're going to have more opportunities to make plays on the ball, especially in a zone system. He can still use those safety skills and apply them on the boundary. Now, if he does stay at safety, I think he's a field safety for Penn State, where he's not going to be the strong safety. He's not playing in the box. He's not going to be 200 pounds. He could be at some point, but those are not his skills right now. And I would want, again, have him in deep coverage, cleaning things up, bursting and driving to the football and getting interceptions like Penn State's current safety does, Jair Brown. Very good at doing that. So if he's a field safety, I think that matches pretty well, and especially in Manny Diaz's defense, because what we learned as we get to know Manny Diaz a little bit more, see the blue-white game, see some packages, see what he does, if you're a safety, you've got to play in the slot. So you've got to be basically a slot corner that plays in deep coverage sometimes. There is very little difference. So all those skills that you see from Conrad Hussey fit this defense perfectly. So I think he's a great fit, he's a clear take, and he's got the versatility. As you go throughout this class, if you add more safeties and you get some of those more big, physical, explosive run defenders, and you're thinking to yourself, we've got a lot of guys here. We don't have any corners outside of Lamont Payne, who's been committed now for almost, I think, over a year or getting close to a year. Then you've got the flexibility to move guys around in the secondary as defensive backs. And I think that's a huge value that Conrad Hussey brings to this recruiting class and to the defense. So we'll get to see his senior season if he can improve some of that physicality. I do want to say, because there are things on film that make it seem like he's a better tackler than he is, I'm also leaving this open to the interpretation that he was injured and wasn't playing up to that level the entire season, because he was injured versus St. Francis in the first game. And I don't know how that affected him the rest of the season, but I do feel pretty confident that physicality is not a core of who he is as a football player. But you can still not have that as embedded in your DNA and still be good at it or still make those plays. So that's one thing I want to mention before we get out of here about Conrad Hussey, is that there's his senior season. Those are the things I'm looking for. Continue to make plays on the ball, improve run defense, and then I think he's going to be a guy that, especially in the summer through the camp circuit, he can rise up the recruiting rankings, because the one thing you don't see as much and you just don't get is that physical ability to take the football away, and he's got that already. So he's a great take for Penn State and a great prospect for the class of 2023. I'm Thomas Frankar. This has been T. Frank's Film Room. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And once again, BlueWhiteIllustrated.com for all your information on recruiting and more for Penn State football.